Right after Island Tea on Win FM, Money Matters with Dr. Terrence Martin moves to Monday afternoons from 1 to 2 p.m. Inside the News on Saturday mornings, now 10 to 12 noon. Tune in to Win FM 98.9. Log on to winmediaskn.com and our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch pages. And let's go. Keep up with the news on our website and by following our Win Media SKN channel on WhatsApp. Message your comments or call Win FM at 466-0989, 662-0989, or call our U.S. numbers from anywhere, 718-285-6984, 305-921-4619, and call our sales office at 466-9586. Voices, now 10 to 12 a.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Money Matters, 1 to 2 p.m. Monday afternoon. And Inside the News, Saturdays, 10 to 12 noon on Win FM 98.9.
Babe, we can get up to 100% financing on a land loan with CIBC Caribbean.
Really? No down payment?
With 15 years to repay, it's so affordable.
Now we can finally move forward with the land we love.
Get up to 100% financing, half off the loan application fee, and up to 15 years to repay a land loan. Plus, CIBC Caribbean will give you $675 towards your valuation fees. Promotion ends March 31, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information.
Let TDC Financial Services help you go for your goals. Whether you're thinking of taking that grand vacation, down payment on a house, higher education, TDC Financial Services has various plans that will allow you to go for your goals. Choose from the Accumulator Plus, Investment Starter Plan, and Fixed Deposit. Ready to go for your goals? Visit us at TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their May 2025 intake and is holding a free information session at the Kuna Conference Centre, Wilkins Street, Bastair, on March 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Edinburgh Napier's programs, which include the AACSB, accredited MBA, and BA Business, are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible. Reserve a place now at www.seidegrees.com. That's www.seidegrees.com.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
A pleasant good day to you and yours, and welcome to another presentation of Island Tea. Let me apologize for the late start, but that was due to a bit of a glitch with the sports and the news. Anyway, we're here. Today is the 5th of March in the year 2025. Wishing all of you out there a good day. Hope that your day has started well and will continue in that vein. Today we're gonna, as it has been per usual, I'm gonna open the lines. If you want to give me a call relating to any topic that you feel is relevant to our daily lives, you can do that. And in the meantime, I'll be perusing some news from my perspective here that is also relating to our daily lives. The numbers you can call are 466, that's the on-island numbers, 466-0989, 762-0989, 305, these are the overseas lines now, 305 921 4619 718 285 6984. Let me repeat them again for you. The numbers on Island 466-0989, 762-0989. The overseas numbers 305-921-4619 and 718-285-6984. Like I said, you can give me a call and bring up any topic that you feel is relevant to our daily lives. Now, yesterday on Island T, we got a call from our sister island of Nevis, and in that call, the lady spoke in relation to agriculture and the monkey problem. And I was sort of rethinking that long after the program, and I remember stating that our leaders, not only in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, but the wider Caribbean, need to unify and stand up to some of these bodies that want to dictate, it seems, every aspect of our lives, how we should live, what we should do, and so on and so forth. And the monkey problem, well, if you listen to our leaders, they seem to suggest that their hands are tied in relation to trying to cut down on the monkey population, because if they do so, corporations, institutions like perhaps Peter or so will start protesting, and it could be bad for our tourism product. I feel that you don't have to go out and start slaughtering the monkeys without reason, but I feel that there is a strong point that for us to feed ourselves and thus maintain our existence on the planet, we would have to curtail the monkeys' population and destruction. And so our leaders will have to find ways, hire some individuals who have, I remember when I was young, there were some individuals that we used to call the monkey men, and we would see them on their bicycles, their motorbikes, and you would see the gun strapped over their shoulders, and they helped to eliminate the monkey population to the extent that you very rarely saw a monkey, because monkeys felt that when they came in contact with human beings, it would not be good for them. So we need to bring back some of that, find ways of curtailing the monkey population, or else it is no use for us to say that we are going to see if we can develop agriculture on our islands. So that's one of the problems that we face. Also, there is the issue of visa restrictions in terms of doctors coming from Cuba and assisting on our neighboring islands. Now, this is a twofold thing, because Cuba is able to garner some revenue, and we are able to get doctors with the expertise to deal with certain problems that we may not have the doctors to deal with normally. And we find now that the U.S. is offering to put restrictions on visa access to the families of anyone who participate in sending these doctors to various islands, and also perhaps even on leaders in the Caribbean region. Their visa access to travel might come up with some problems. So in thinking about that, I sort of remembered the history of Cuba in relation to us here in the Caribbean region. not only in relation to us here in the Caribbean region, but also in relation to you remember when apartheid was at its peak and there was so many protests around the world, and remember that Cuba and Fidel Castro offered and sent soldiers to help Africa and South Africa in the fight against apartheid and in their overall freedom struggle. It seems, because we know that Elon Musk is a South African, and it seems as if though, from my perspective, this is a sort of a lashback to the fact that he had to vacate his homeland, and this is a sort of a revenge factor as far as I'm concerned, because I don't see why they should be overly concerned about Cuba sending doctors to assist on the neighboring islands. The only plausible reason I can see is it as a sort of a getting back at Cuba for assisting in the African freedom fight years ago. So that is something you can think about. Also, in relation to this issue with Trump and Lewinsky, we have Trump saying that Lewinsky might be the individual who causes the Third World War and this back and forth and so on and so forth. Again, we see, if we remember history, we see that there is a sort of a historic link, and again, Cuba plays a part in that, because although I don't agree with most of what Trump does, I think in this instance, in relation to, not that I support the Russian leader Putin, but Putin has a legitimate concern. The concern is NATO putting a base in such close proximity to Russia. Now, you might ask, well, what does that have to do with anything? Then you go back historically and you will realize that back in the day, Russia set up a base on Cuba. And you remember what happened to that. The United States demanded that Russia should vacate that area because it posed a threat to the United States, because they did not feel good with Russia having a base so close to the U.S. borders, a base where you can just perhaps send missiles into the United States of America. So if the United States had a problem with that years ago, where they did not want a base that they felt would be hostile to them in proximity to their region, then don't you feel that Putin also has a legit... But you see, the news media conveniently does not tell the whole story. Whether you like Putin or not, Putin's concern is that he does not want NATO to be in such close proximity. They could easily compromise Russia's security. So that is a problem, and we need to look at that. Lewinsky, for whatever reason, decided to side with NATO, and Russia had warned him before, if you take this venture, we will have to take steps to counter this trend that you would take. And so when he agreed to take the step that he took, Russia decided to take their stance. And so, in my opinion, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Now you hear about Lewinsky and his country being under threat and how much of his soldiers have died, but you do not hear the same in relation to the Palestinians. You don't hear how many of them have died, what what is happening to them. There seems to be no concern in this one-sided worldwide media, so those are things that we need to look at when we listen to the news and we process how and why certain things happen. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and again, I remind you that the phone lines are open. You can call in and bring up whatever topic, whatever issue you wish to. In the meantime, let me take this bit of a commercial break, and I will be right back with you.
Found the sound 98.9 FM.
Let's stop child sexual abuse. The age of consent is 16, yet our 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, and 10-year-olds are becoming victims of sexual abuse and exploitation, which is being forced into sexual activity before they are old enough to decide. This causes mental, emotional, and physical harm to our children. Parents, it is your responsibility to protect and to educate your children. Develop a relationship of trust with your child. If they trust you, they will tell you. Child sexual abuse cannot be our norm. We must work together to correct this. Help us prevent, help us protect, help us prosecute. A message by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you. Join me, Percival Hanley, this coming Friday and every other Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Heritage Matters on Win Media SKN 98.9. Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
And I'm back with you, and about this time I'm going to play for you a bit of a clip. We know some years ago the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis had some serious financial debt problems. We had to approach the IMF and seek assistance, and the IMF proposed some stiff measures, and those measures included the VAT that we now presently undergo, the VAT that is causing so much concern and always seems to be a very, very serious point of discussion. So in that vein, I'm going to play for you a bit of a clip as it relates to the Caribbean's debt crisis and some of the most indebted nations in the region, in the Caribbean region.
Are the Caribbean nations drowning in debt? With paradise beaches and lush landscapes, the Caribbean may seem like a tropical dream, but beneath the surface lies a harsh reality: soaring public debt that threatens economic stability and impacts the lives of millions. In this video, we dive into the 10 most indebted Caribbean countries in 2025, uncovering the stories behind the numbers, the root causes of these fiscal challenges like natural disasters, reliance on tourism, and small economies, and their far-reaching consequences. Stay tuned to discover which countries are burdened by debt-to-GDP ratios over 100%, how they're fighting back, and what the future holds for this vibrant region. If you're curious about how high debt shapes these nations and what it means for their people, you're in the right place. For decades, many Caribbean nations have grappled with unsustainable borrowing levels. And while several nations have made strides sustainable borrowing. In response, a new government implemented an ambitious debt restructuring program. We'll also take a look into why these high debt is so bad and what the future holds for these nations and its people. Let's break it down together. But before we get started, let's look briefly at how we compare debt. Debt between countries is typically measured using a debt to GDP ratio, which compares a nation's total debt to its gross domestic product, GDP. This metric is widely used because it provides a transparent and standardized measure of a country's debt relative to the size of its economy, allowing for comparisons across nations with vastly different economic scales. A high debt to GDP ratio is often viewed as a red flag because it indicates that a country's debt exceeds its economic output, raising concerns about its ability to manage or repay that debt without compromising growth or essential services. Not only that, the high debt can erode investor confidence, increase borrowing costs, and reduce fiscal flexibility, a government's ability to pay for essential services, leaving nations vulnerable to financial crisis or austerity. While debt to GDP ratios vary widely, for context, Japan has the highest ratio of over 260%. The United States stands at around 120%. And Germany, known for its fiscal prudence, maintains a ratio of roughly 65%. All data is taken from the latest IMF values. At the number 10 spot, with a debt to GDP ratio of 66.8%, we have Belize, getting us out of the starting block with a total of US $2.1 billion in public debt. In case you're wondering why Belize is on this Caribbean top 10 list, it's because Belize is a member of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, and is located in Central America on the Caribbean Sea's northeastern coast. Belize has faced a challenging journey with its debt to GDP ratio, which has fluctuated significantly over the past decade. At its peak in 2020, Belize's debt to GDP ratio soared to approximately 103%, driven by the twin crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic and Hurricane Eta, which devastated key sectors like tourism and agriculture. However, in recent years, Belize has taken measures to address its debt burden, namely through the restructuring of its super bond. In November 2021, the government of Belize repurchased US $553 million, a quarter of the country's total public debt, from bondholders at a 45% discount through a blue loan arranged by the Nature Conservancy, drastically reducing its debt by about 12%. Since then, the country's debt has continued to drop and is expected to do so by 2025. Next on our list is the economic giant and renowned country of Jamaica. Doing much better than other countries on our list, Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio stands at 67.8%, which equates to approximately US $14.7 billion in public debt. Unfortunately, Jamaica has been burdened by a high level of debt for decades. For example, back in 2012, the country saw its debt peak at 143.9% of GDP. Recognizing the unsustainable nature of its debt, the government of Jamaica embarked on an ambitious reform program supported by the IMF, focused on fiscal consolidation, structural reforms, and debt restructuring, leading to the reduction of public debt by over 60 percentage points. However, challenges remain. The country continues to face high poverty rates, vulnerability to climate change, and a reliance on tourism and commodity exports. All this does not help a country that has been among the slowest growing economies in the Latin America and the Caribbean region with persistently low productivity growth. Our next country is much smaller than the aforementioned Jamaica, but...
Okay, I'm going to take a bit of a break, pause that for a minute, let you ponder what you've heard so far in relation to Belize and Jamaica, take a bit of a commercial break, and when I get back, we'll continue this bit of a discussion as to the Caribbean's most indebted nations.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
It's the start of the week. It's time for a new perspective. It's time for Unfiltered. Join Azar Gums, lawyer and deputy leader of the People's Action Movement, for raw and unfiltered political analysis of the current events in St. Kitts and Nevis. Tune in every Sunday evening from 7:30 p.m. on Win FM. Join Azar Gums as he breaks the mantle and cuts through the unfiltered political noise to bring you the facts. Unfiltered every Sunday evening on Win FM 98.9.
It's the sale you've been waiting for. Happening now. Discounts galore at your favorite Hosford store. Hosford's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley's Furniture Home Store, Hosford's Building and Nevis Centers, and Hosford's Auto Parts and Accessories. Get ready for discounts galore. Store discounts, big discounts, small discounts, VAT discounts, and more. We're slashing prices with at least 4% VAT off and up to 20% off store-wide on furniture, appliances, auto parts, building materials, and hardware, and so much more. Discounts galore across all Hosford stores. And that's not all. Customer discounts and even Value Club member savings mean the deals just keep getting better. Whether you're upgrading your home, tackling your next project, or fixing your ride, Hosford's has you covered. Take advantage of the discounts galore at all Hosford stores today. At Hosford's Furniture and Appliances, Ashley's Furniture Home Store, Hosford's Building and Nevis Centers, and Hosford's Auto Parts and Accessories. Hurry in! These offers won't last long. Don't miss out on the biggest savings of the year. Visit any Hosford store now and start saving with discounts galore in every store. Big deals, big savings, and more. Terms and conditions apply.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their May 2025 intake and is holding a free information session at the Kuna Conference Centre, Wilkins Street, Bastair, on March 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Edinburgh Napier's programs, which include the AACSB, accredited MBA, and BA Business, are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible. Reserve a place now at www.seidegrees.com. That's www.seidegrees.com.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
Babe, we can get up to 100% financing on a land loan with CIBC Caribbean.
Really? No down payment?
With 15 years to repay, it's so affordable.
Now we can finally move forward with the land we love.
Get up to 100% financing, half off the loan application fee, and up to 15 years to repay a land loan. Plus, CIBC Caribbean will give you $675 towards your valuation fees. Promotion ends March 31, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
Okay, I'm back with you. The time approximately 8:41. Now, during the break, I did get a call that I tried to put on hold, but somehow I lost that caller. Caller, if you wish, do give me a call back, and I'll engage you. Okay? In the meantime, let me continue with our... Okay, I see I have that caller, so let me... Hello, good day.
Good day, Mr. Quint. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm blessed to receive it and giving thanks.
Yes.
This is an excellent program, and I must start by welcoming you back to Winnipeg 98.9.
Yes, thank you.
And this Russia thing.
Yes.
I am not certain we are being told the entire story.
Yes.
Why Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yes.
A lot of things are being said. Russia is calling it a special exercise. And if I'm not mistaken, they passed some law that if any Russian call it anything else except a special exercise, they will be locked up. They'll go to prison.
Mm-hmm.
To me, something is dreadfully wrong with that. An invasion by any other name is an invasion.
Yes.
And it looks like even the President of the United States dancing around, not calling or not wanting to call it an invasion. To me, something is drastically wrong with that. And you mentioned the point about Ukraine becoming a member of NATO. That is why Russia invaded. And I like the thinking you said when Russia wanted to put a base in Cuba.
Yes.
And the U.S. picked up because of the proximity.
Yes.
But if we look at it, I checked the old Google. Russia and Ukraine, they share borders.
Yes.
Belarus and Ukraine, they also share borders, but we know Belarus supporting Russia.
Yes.
Latvia, Estonia, and Finland, they also share borders with Russia.
Yes.
And when you look at the members of NATO, Finland became a member of NATO in 2023.
Yes.
Latvia has been a member of NATO since 2004.
Okay.
And Estonia, they have been a member of NATO since 2004 and 2004 as well.
Yes.
So I have a little challenge accepting the argument that Russia doesn't want a base so close.
Yes. Okay. And I follow I follow your reasoning. It is plausible.
Yeah. And to me, it's more than that. Well, of course, I heard stories about Ukraine being very rich in minerals, etc., and Russia wanted to access that. And I don't know if you recall, earlier clock, some justification given for the invasion was something about humanity something and Ukraine not doing something and ethnic cleansing and most of many things. But, in life, we'll always find a story to support our argument.
Yes.
So I have a little challenge with Russia and the NATO part based on what I have just outlined.
Yes.
Now, shifting from that coming home, on Friday there was the National Day of Prayer. Excuse me. And I must compliment the St. Nevis government for having that. I must compliment the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Jeffrey Hanley. He's the Minister of Ecclesiastics and Affairs and Faith-Based. And at first I couldn't understand the faith-based. I did a little research, and it makes sense what I was told. Ecclesiastic will be the normal evangelical association, the Clapham churches, Pentecostal churches, the Christian council, the traditional churches, for want of a better expression, the Catholic, Anglican, Methodist. However, the faith-based include things like the Baha'is, Muslims, Rastafaris, Armstrong, Seventh, those sort of things. So I like that combination because you need to be all-inclusive. I visited one of the stations, and I like the fact that they had these stations, something like 11, 13 stations in St. Nevis,
yes.
One in the square, one in 4th Street, various places. I particularly like the one up at the industrial site.
Okay.
So I visited the square, and I was there. And I also like the fact that every half an hour they had different denominations come in and present it, as well as some churches had it for over half in as well. They opened their churches. While I was there, I noted I haven't heard anybody said anything about the Rastafari. So I wondered, and I was in a discussion with the group, if they were invited, these faith-based churches, Muslims, the Rastafaris, and I think we do have Muslims here in St. and Nevis, and there is a group, a church, House of Israel or something to that effect.
Yes.
I wondered if these were were invited. Now, I don't believe in Selassie being the God, etc.
Yes.
But I understand Rastafari, that is what they think, that is their thing. And so if they believe in it, so be it. I always say, Queen, come Judgment Day, who you expect to be on this side will be on that side, and who you expect to be on that side will be on this side, whatever those sides are.
Yes. And I agree.
Only the Almighty.
I agree.
And so my thing is to invite all of them.
Yes.
But I don't remember seeing them. I don't know.
I don't remember seeing them. I don't remember seeing them either. I don't remember seeing any other than the Christian, those aligned with Christianity.
Society.
Yes.
Yeah, the Christian society. And I don't believe that sends a good message. Because who am I to tell you, Quinn, that your religion, your faith, is not one of God and God is not going to recognize you?
Yes.
And who are you to tell me that about mine?
I agree.
So at the end of the day, we are judging for God.
Yes.
He will determine, well, yes, these are my children and you are not.
Yes.
So I don't think we as any entity, the government, and I'm not saying the government did, but the government, the evangelical or whoever, should have a right to prevent or not allow other people to exercise their faith just like how we are doing.
Yes.
So I thought about that. If there is a challenge, if by chance they don't want to be associated with them because they don't believe they worship God, perhaps it would be better to have 2 days of prayer. The Thursday for the Christian community, as it were, for want of a better expression, and the Friday, for example, as the faith base, and next year you turn it around.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is equity.
Yes.
And that is just my view. Plus, I'm wondering, I'm suggesting that be held maybe quarterly.
Yeah.
Every last Friday in the quarter or whatever, or last Thursday, however it is, we have that.
Yes.
Because whether we like it or not, we are a Christian society, but not only that. We as non-Christians listen a lot of gospel music now.
Yes. Yes.
Even on a Friday night, even on a Saturday night, when we're out to party.
Yes.
Some of us. So to me, that says something. It tells us something, notwithstanding that a lot of the Christians, a lot of the pastors are not leading the life to encourage us to become Christians.
Yes.
Pastors having affairs, so I'm hearing, with persons in church, pastors breaking up marriages, and all of those things, if they are true.
Yes.
But they need to live an exemplary life, in my humble opinion.
I agree.
Thank you for allowing me to
But
talk sometime. I don't know if you...
don't leave.
Okay.
I'm glad that you challenged me on what I said about Russia, because that is what I want. I want, as you said, we can always find reasons to validate whatever point we put forward, okay?
Right.
What I want is whenever I put forward something, you challenge me on it. You bring, and your perspective, like I said, is valid. And I can agree with it, because if there are these other border places that share border with Russia and Russia isn't invading them, then it means that what you put forward makes sense. You understand? I only open up the debate, giving you something, to ponder and come back. You understand? So I like that. I like that, and thank you for making an input. Continue to have. Wait, what do you feel about what has happened to and is happening to the Palestinians in relation to, you said an invasion is an invasion. What do you feel in relation to that?
If I'm remembering correctly, and thanks for indulging me as well, I appreciate it. If I remember correctly, it started with us being told that there was some bombing of Israel originated from the Gaza Strip. Was it Hezbollah?
Yes.
Whatever the terrorist group called.
Yes.
They bombed Israel and they were seeking refuge in the Gaza.
Yes.
So what I'm remembering, this is a retaliatory action by the Israelites.
Okay.
By Israelis, sorry.
Okay. So having said that, here's what I will say as a sort of a furthering the debate. I say that this started in 1948, when the rest of the world decided to put Russian Israelis in that area. That is when it started. And I use the example. If I am living in a house and you come out of nowhere, some cousin or uncle just brings you and puts you in my house and tells me that you own half of my house, I'm going to have a problem with it. And if it takes me 1,000 years to try to get back my house, but by whatever means necessary, I will feel justified. So when individuals say to me, it started recently when Hezbollah did, I don't buy that argument. It started when you decided to take these people and put them there, and the Palestinians deserve their rightful place. Now, I don't have a problem with you working out in the future and saying, well, you will have to share it. I don't have a problem with that. But I am saying you cannot, and Israel's attitude is that they seem to want to wipe out the Palestinians. So what do you feel about what I said, that it did not start when recently Hezbollah, but in 1948 when they decided to put Israel in that area? What do you say to that?
I like your line of reasoning. I am not really armed with the facts to refute or support what you are saying.
Okay.
It does sound reasonable because, and at the end of the day, a rose by any other name is a rose, eh?
That's it.
Just like an invasion by any other name is an invasion, a special exercise, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
But that sounds very plausible.
Okay.
But it brings me to an alarming point, Quinn. The media.
Yes.
We are supposed to trust the media in what the media are telling us.
Yes.
Not that I support Quinn, so I'm only going to push all the positive things about Quinn.
Yes.
And I don't support Peter, so I'm going to push all the negative things about Peter.
Yes.
The media, and I've been exposed to media training, you are supposed to just put the facts here. You're not even supposed to give your personal opinion as a media personnel.
That is true.
This is what happened. This is what happened. This is the reaction. This is that. 25 people killed,
Yes.
whatever the case is.
Yes.
You just bring the facts.
Yes, and let people analyze for themselves.
Exactly.
Yes.
You mentioned the thing about Elon Musk and South Africa. I know he has South African roots. I know quite a few of Trump's cabinet. Some of the few billionaires he has as part of his cabinet. They have South African roots, ties, heritage, whether they're born there, whatever the case is.
Yes.
And the gentleman from PayPal, for example, or the PayPal team, there are 3 or 4 of them.
Yes.
And I read something a few weeks ago that Elon Musk, the how we call it, Hitler.
Yeah, well, I saw it. I actually saw it. I actually saw the clip where he did the sign, you know. Don't you think that is don't you think that is kind of in your face?
It is because whether we like it or not, one of the darkest periods of the world was fighting Nazis, and this is another problem I have. Too many wars being plundered around.
Yes.
You mentioned South Africa and apartheid.
Yes.
Which was suppressing and trying to eliminate the black people.
Yes.
You hear about ethnic cleansing. So what were the Germans trying to do with the Jews?
Yes.
Isn't that ethnic cleansing? Isn't that a form of apartheid?
Yes.
So again, a rose by any other name is a rose, but we keep hearing these different names and these nice names. So
Yes.
if you don't know what's happening, you won't really get a correct grasp. So I have a problem with Elon Musk in that.
And I'm glad you brought up that point, because whereas we can say what Hitler tried to do to the Jews, the rest of the world was in a hoopla and it was wrong, and we agree. But what was happening in South Africa, the very same media was not putting the very same emphasis on it.
Exactly.
Yes. So I get your point.
And it has to be wrong. Media is like the U.S. Some support Trump, some don't support Trump. The CNN support whoever, and the NBCs are whoever supports. That cannot be right as media.
Yes.
Media, your job is to get the facts out there. This is what happened. This was based on that decision. We're not certain. We're hearing this. We're going to report on it, etc. Not twist it to you according to who you support. Otherwise, the media will become unreliable.
Yes.
And hence, to me, when it comes to international news,
yes,
one of the media houses I really respect is BBC.
yes,
Because I believe they try to always go straight down the middle.
yes,
You listen to the U.S. media, you're not certain you're getting the correct side or all of the truth. You may get piece of the truth, but in my view, Quinn,
yes.
a lie is not telling you, hey, Quinn, I am going to back you, but I go to K-On or I go to Date. No. The truth, in my humble view, the simplest definition, is telling you something or doing something that causes you to believe something that is not true.
Yes, yes.
When I tell you piece the truth, I tell you half the truth, I dilute the truth, I mix it up with something else. Once at the end of the day, you come to a conclusion which is not the true conclusion. That's my interpretation of a lie.
But that is one of the reasons why individuals must do their own research, because whenever they bring these stories to you, they don't tell you the complete lie. They mix the lie with some truth. So you tend to, because of the truth that you heard in the lie, you accept the whole thing. But if you have done your research, you will be able to pick out the truth from the lie and realize, okay, they're pushing this with a specific agenda. You understand? So yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. I like your thinking process. I like the way you think.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Will.
Yes.
And congratulations. Excellent discussion. And my apologies for taking up so long.
Man, no apologies. I love the indulgence, okay? The indulgence.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day, sir.
Same to you. You take care. I'm going to take a bit of a break now, and when I get back, we'll get back to our clip in relation to the Caribbean's most indebted islands. Okay?
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM. We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune in to On The Ball, a weekly tour show which is on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on Win FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
More than 42 million cars from 19 different car companies are being recalled for faulty airbag inflators. Repairs are fast, easy, and free. The problem isn't with the airbag, it's with the airbag inflator. Because the inflator can rupture, shooting shrapnel through the airbag, which can cause serious injury or even death. Don't risk it, fix it.
Please contact TDC Automotive Division to find out if your Toyota vehicle is affected by the Takata airbag recall. Visit or call us at 465-2511 in St. Kitts or 469-5430 in Nevis.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with Win FM.
At Dental Beginnings, where it all begins with your smile, we provide quality dental care, catering to the needs of the whole family, where gentleness is our specialty and attention to detail is paramount. We offer cleanings, fillings, crown and bridge, root canals, extractions, digital x-rays, and sealants. Dental Beginnings, located at Victoria Road, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Call us at 869-668-1955 or 869-465-1951. Email us at dentalbeginnings@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page. Dental Beginnings. It all begins with a smile.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea only on Win Media 98.9.
Okay, I'm back with you, and the time is, let me see, about 3 minutes moving away from the 9 o'clock hour. And rather interesting and good bit of a conversation there with that caller. So I'm going to go back to our clip in relation to the Caribbean's most indebted islands, and I also state that if you want to give me a call and interject, bring up a topic that you deem feasible for discussion, or speak on anything that we've discussed so far, I will seek to engage you.
Does not make their debt to GDP ratio any less staggering. With a debt to GDP ratio of 69.6%, or US $1.7 billion in debt, Antigua and Barbuda comes in at our number 8 slot. Antigua and Barbuda's debt to GDP, while high, has remained relatively consistent over the decades, showing debt is not necessarily always bad. While the country's debt to GDP ratio peaked at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, the country's ratio only just hit 100% and has been falling ever since, with a 30 percentage point reduction in just an impressive 4 years. However, this does not mean it's smooth sailing. The country's relatively small size makes it vulnerable to external shocks, not to mention the common challenges of climate disasters and an over-reliance on tourism most Caribbean countries face. With a debt to GDP ratio of 73.8%, or US $1.97 billion in debt, we have the home of the Pitons. St. Lucia comes in at our number 7 slot. St. Lucia also becomes the first country on our list where their debt is trending in the wrong direction, rising steadily over the years. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, St. Lucia's debt to GDP ratio was around 60%, a manageable level given its developing economy. However, the pandemic dealt a severe blow to its tourism-dependent economy, causing a sharp contraction in GDP and a surge in public borrowing to address health and social needs. In 2020, the debt to GDP ratio peaked at 95%. And even though this value has fallen, concerns still abound about the country's debt sustainability. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your likes help the YouTube algorithm promote our videos to a broader audience. Thanks for your support. Moving on up the list, we come to our next country with a debt to GDP ratio of 75.3%, or US $1.1 billion in debt. Grenada is in our number 7 slot. While 75% seems high, and it is, Grenada has demonstrated remarkable progress in reducing its debt to GDP ratio over the last decade, from its peak of 105% in 2013. Grenada embarked on an IMF-supported reform program in 2014, which included fiscal consolidation, debt restructuring, and economic diversification efforts. However, the country remains vulnerable to external shocks, such as natural disasters like Hurricane Beryl. The damage caused by Hurricane Beryl led Grenada to become the first country in the world to activate its hurricane clause, which suspended repayment of its next 2 debt repayments for a few months so funds could be focused on recovery. As we break into the top 5 most indebted countries in the Caribbean, we come to another giant economy in the region, in the north, the Bahamas. The Bahamas takes it up a notch with a debt to GDP ratio of 81.5%, equating to about $12.5 billion in debt. While not at its highest point in history, before the pandemic, the country was on a dangerously upward trajectory, with its debt peaking at 99.7% during the height of the pandemic. However, as the country's debt continues to decline, the Bahamas remains highly vulnerable to external shocks like Hurricane Dorian, which causes a massive surge in expenditure to rebuild. Looking ahead, the Bahamas' ability to reduce its debt burden will depend on tourism growth and improved borrowing costs. In our number 4 slot, we have another country trending in the wrong direction when it comes to debt to GDP, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With a debt to GDP ratio of 87.1%, St. Vincent and the Grenadines hold about US $1.08 billion in public debt, marking 2024 as the most debt owed by the country in its history. The reason for this growth in debt can be blamed on the deterioration of the country's primary fiscal balance, caused by the pandemic and the subsequent volcanic eruption in April 2021, which was compounded by Hurricane Beryl just last year in 2024, causing more than US $300 million in damages. The good news, however, is that the country is projected to begin decreasing its debt by this year, 2025. We now come to the region's most indebted countries as we come to our number 3 spot, taken by Suriname. Suriname becomes our first country with a debt to GDP ratio above 90%, with its debt equating to a whopping $4.48 billion or 90.7% of GDP. Suriname has struggled with a volatile debt to GDP ratio in recent years, driven by a combination of economic mismanagement, external shocks, and the decline of key industries. By 2020, the debt to GDP ratio had skyrocketed to nearly 150%, one of the highest in the region at the time, due mainly to falling oil and gold revenues, a depreciating currency, and the fiscal pressures of the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result, Suriname entered into a debt restructuring agreement with international creditors and sought support from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, to stabilize its economy. This has led the country to see a downward trajectory of its debt, and with the discovery of substantial offshore oil reserves, the country is hoping to see a similar boom to its neighbor, Guyana. Coming in at our runner-up spot, we have another tiny country with a small economy, Dominica. With a debt to GDP ratio of 96.5%, that number may seem like a lot, but with a GDP of only US $750 million, its total debt is far smaller at just US $724 million. Dominica has a history of high debt, hovering above 70% for almost a decade. Dominica's long-time challenge with its debt to GDP ratio reflects the vulnerabilities of its small economy to external shocks and natural disasters. The country's debt to GDP ratio had slowed and began to turn downwards in 2015. But the devastation caused by Tropical Storm Erica was one of the deadliest and most destructive natural disasters in Dominica. The country has seen a gradual increase in its debt obligations. And in the unenviable number 1 spot of the most indebted Caribbean country with a debt to GDP ratio of 103%, Barbados comes in as the most indebted country in the region, owing US $8.42 billion to external creditors. The history of Barbados' debt is not new. Since the global fiscal crisis back in 2008, the country has steadily seen its debt increase year over year, peaking at a whopping 142.8% in 2017. This made it one of the most indebted countries in the world at the time of this recording, only behind Japan, caused by years of fiscal deficits, low economic growth, and unsustainable borrowing. In response, a new government implemented an ambitious debt restructuring program under the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation (BERT) plan, supported by the International Monetary Fund (IMF). Combined with fiscal reforms and economic adjustments, these efforts reduced the debt to GDP ratio to approximately 125% by 2023. However, the COVID-19 pandemic reversed some gains as tourism revenues collapsed and public spending increased to address the crisis. The future for Barbados, however, seems bright. Since 2020, the country has consistently decreased its public debt year on year and the country is set to drop below the 100% figure this year, 2025, for the first time since 2011. Looking ahead, Barbados is committed to further reducing its debt-to-GDP ratio to 60% by the fiscal year 2035-2036, in accordance with the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation (BERT) plan. With prudent fiscal management and strong economic growth, do not let the high debt fool you. Barbados is set to have a bright future.
And there we had it, the Caribbean's top 10 most indebted islands or nations. And as we are well aware, if our leaders do not practice proper fiscal management, then they wind up with the IMF, and the IMF is going to advise that they impose austerity measures that we, the masses, feel. We feel the squeeze. And here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, we definitely can relate to what the VAT has done to us here in the islands of St. Kitts and Nevis. And it is a burden that we would like to see cast from our shoulders. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that in the not too distant future we can see the complete eradication of VAT. Perhaps that is wishful thinking on my part, but so be it. I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when I get back, we'll continue our discussion. Again, I inform you that you can give me a call and speak on any issue you wish, or you can continue further discussion on any topic you have heard so far for the morning. Let me repeat those numbers for you, and the numbers are on island 466-0989, 762-0989, and external overseas the lines are 305-921-4619, 718-285-6984. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when I get back, we'll continue in the vein of debt. And we're going to listen to a bit of a clip as it relates to the Caribbean nations that are indebted to China. And as we know, we see China making bigger inroads into our islands here in the Caribbean. And so suffice it to say, China is looked at and often referred to as the neo-colonialists. So we're going to take a bit of a commercial break, and when we get back, we'll get into that clip that deals with our Caribbean islands that are in debt to China.
Found the sound, 98.9 FM.
Edinburgh Napier University, the #1 modern university in Scotland, is now recruiting for their May 2025 intake and is holding a free information session at the Kuna Conference Centre, Wilkin Street, Bastair, on March 13th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Edinburgh Napier's programs, which include the AACSB, accredited MBA, and BA Business, are 100% online, 100% relevant, and 100% flexible. Reserve a place now at www.seidegrees.com. That's www.seidegrees.com.
Let's get real on Win FM. Hi, this is Lavi. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM. Get ready for an hour of real talk that will keep you engaged and informed, bringing you insights, the hottest topics of the moment, and perspectives that matter from the runway to the political arena. Real talk with Lavi covers all. Let's get real Wednesday nights at 8 on Win FM.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And I'm back with you. The time 18 minutes moving away from the 9 o'clock hour. And I was sort of thinking to myself, you know, you might be wondering, what relevance is it that we know what islands in our region are indebted and to whom they are indebted? I think that as a Caribbean region, we should all be striving towards unification, because as individual island states, we have no real say in things as far as the world is concerned. But as a combined region, the proximity that we reside in, that we live in, is very, very relevant to travel, worldwide distribution of goods and shipments and so on and so forth. So as a region, we need to unify and find ways to make our location beneficial to us as a Caribbean people. So that is one of the reasons why we should know what is happening between the various islands, and we can learn from each other. If an island takes a step and it does not work out, then we have an example that we know we should not follow. But if an island takes a step and it is beneficial, then there is an example that we can readily pick up and say, okay, this has been proven to work, and we will therefore follow that trend. Having said that, let me get into a bit of a clip as it relates to the Caribbean's debt to China. But I see that we have a call, so let me engage that individual. Hello, good day to you.
Oh, good morning, good morning.
Good day, Sylvine. And how are you today?
I'm here giving God thanks.
Yes.
You have a lot to be thankful for, you know.
A lot to be thankful for.
Yes, a lot to be thankful for. One thing you leave out is that the aspiration of the Caribbean island citizens way beyond the ability of the country to provide it.
Well,
what do you think about that?
I would say that isn't that the situation with most all of us? Do we not often place our hats higher than we can reach? Whether it is a good thing or not, that is another question. But do we not often do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes the governments are forced. Because, you know, when they have election, everybody giving away what the country does not have. And
Yes.
the citizens are demanding it.
Yes.
So they have grown accustomed to a certain level of standard of living. Nobody going back.
Okay.
Now,
Go ahead.
Was St. Kitts among the number 10?
No, St. Kitts was not in the 10.
Why, God, they're 60-something.
Yes.
Now, there's a reason for it, you know. In that, in the case of St. Kitts and Nevis, I think 70% of the debt was domestic. So a lot of the debt was not international.
Okay.
And of course, having 51% of the National Bank
Yes.
ownership. They did most of the borrowings here and a few of the other local commercial banks.
Yes.
And then there were government institutions like the Social Security that they dump, the Treasury, when they offer them. But they don't sell them, they put them on Social Security and National Bank.
Yes. Let me ask you this, Sylvine. is there a big difference? And if so, what is the difference between, as you said, our debt being more internal,
Domestic.
yeah,
Domestic, you say.
as opposed to external? Explain the difference.
Right.
Yes.
Now, in our case, with 70% of the debt being domestic, we were able to stave off, because that's why it was allowed to go, it was almost 200%.
Yes.
So it does, this way the debt for land swap could occur.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Why you just say, well, you already have the paper for the land, because every time they want a loan, they pass a paper for the land.
Yes.
So the bank already had the land. Only that we had not declared ourselves unable to pay.
Yes.
Then the bonds are loans, eh?
Yeah.
A treasury bill is an investment.
Yes.
A bond is one, but a bond is a loan. They had debt restructuring, and because the debt on the international market was small, they were unable, in most cases, to get any kind of help.
Okay.
I think they only had, what, 5 million for the UK. UK said no. America said no. You know, so very few countries gave them any reprieve.
Okay, so there, you said the debt, the external debt was very small.
Small, yeah, small compared to what we had.
So if it is small, why then were they not given a loan? It sounds it sounds counterproductive to me. So
not
you're
alone, you know, not alone. You mean debt relief?
Yeah, debt relief.
You're asking countries to write off the debt.
Okay.
But you see what happened? While they're asking for debt to be written off, the CBI funds were coming in.
Okay. Okay.
So it's like I can't pay you, you know, but your savings account going up.
I understand.
And then
I understand.
The local lenders, those who held bonds, they lost 50% of the value.
I remember that. I remember that.
And those who had treasury bills, rather than the bills maturing in 90 days, 180 days, and in some cases more than that.
Yes.
And they also reduced the interest rate on the treasury bills and the bonds.
Yes.
So all of the pain, most of the pain was internal. Now, when you have a lot of external debt, this is where the IMF comes in. Because they monitor the economy, they could, people who want to lend you will first seek reference from the IMF.
Yes.
We say, well, right now, they can't carry no more or whatever. Or you can do like Argentina. Argentina, they said, we're not paying. We can't pay, so we're not paying. And then all kind of things come down on you. So saying it was lucky in a certain sense that our people are not aggressive.
Yes.
Because when you lend your money and it's a half, and in some cases, 45 years before you can get your money. 45 years, you know. You might have a 10-year bond. You run that before you get anybody, before you get anything.
Yes, yes.
So like Jamaica wrote up, cut their thing, the bonds by 45. We went for 50.
Yeah.
In a small society, you know.
Okay, so Sylvine, let me ask you this. If when we were in a problem, we had the papers for the land, so we could have put that and say...
We had it, the bank already had it.
Yes, so we could have said land for debt. Now, with the way we're going in terms of what the SIDF, where individuals are coming in and buying up our land for with the hoping that they will make investments, we are only so big. What do you feel? What do you feel is going to happen in the not too distant future in terms of, as I see it, there will come a time when we will not have land where we can say, when we're in a problem, we can, even if it is a domestic problem, we will not be able to deal with it because we have no land as collateral. What do you say to that?
The government still has some, you know.
Yes. We presently, but I'm saying the way we're going,
Well, they could do like what has started. Start buying back the land.
Historically.
No, they've started, you know.
Uh-huh.
I'm not too sure if this government, but the unity, they bought back land.
Yes.
Bought back some of the land down in Sandy Point, somewhere over the country. So bit by bit, because you see the banking law changed. So the bank doesn't have the power to sell the land.
Yes, yes.
You have to wait until somebody approach or the government.
Yes.
So by saying it's all I got to do, look, you sell in CBI, buy it back accordingly. But you see, some people have connections. I don't know why they borrow from Trinidad, this unit Bank of Trinidad.
Yes.
Lead us.
Yes.
Because, as I said, the uncertainty, you know.
Yeah.
When your loan is risky, the interest rate is high.
Yes.
And so that is what they were doing. They would go there and borrow from some of these people, so-called helpers.
Yeah.
With a high rate
of interest.
I remember with Carifesta houses.
Yes, yes.
They didn't have the money, but they said they're going to hold Carifesta. And they had to go to the bank in Trinidad to charge them 12%, you know. 12%. And the same houses were already on sale. At a sale or given at a much, much lower interest rate.
Mm.
So they made a lot of losses.
Yes.
And you know, people make approaches. But they could buy back. They can be buyback. And the case, they said that National Bank had taken the people at the peninsula to court.
Okay.
And had won some of the land. All that they have to do is to sell the land at a certain price that they could make back the money. Back the money.
Okay.
And some of the land down where the horse race track.
Yes.
Isn't that being utilized? They could buy it back.
Yes.
So that some buyback could do.
Yes.
But, and some of our people have land that they're not even using or plan to use.
Yes.
You know, they're giving out on the politics. The politics is something else. even some of the farming. Some of them were given acres and acres and they're only growing grass.
Yes, yes.
I have said long time ago, if the land is not being put to productive use, take it back and give it to somebody else.
Yes.
Cut up some of these farms that are not producing.
Yes.
You can't get 5-10 acres and you're only using 2.
Yeah.
And you claim that is you and God was given to you. Sometimes you have to do drastic things, you know.
Definitely. It's like being a parent and your child is making demands, but you know what your financial
yes,
restraints
you know
are.
what you could afford.
Yes, you know, so.
It's like some parents have got on and take out a phone for a child in school that costs over $2,000. Now tell me what kind of sense?
You know?
You know, so sometimes they don't think in the country and these so-called investors. When you're desperate, kind of desperation drives us into these things, you know.
Yes, yes.
People say they want job, they want work, they want work, even if they don't really want to work, they want a penny.
Mm.
Right? And so the prospects sound good. Well, you could get 1,000 jobs to your people, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't properly investigate them. Where's the money coming from? Even the geothermal. You need people with money who could help to lay the groundwork and everything.
Yes.
It's one thing to drill. What about the distribution of it?
Yeah, because if we're not careful, we might just be wasting money if we can't further the venture. You know?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes you never know until you do something.
Yes, yes.
That's why our people need people with good economic analysis.
Yes.
Not people who like your party or who hate your party. If you are a qualified person, you shouldn't be afraid to give advice.
Yes.
You know, oh, he look in favor. Well, I don't look none.
Yeah.
The Lord is my helper. But seriously, you know, with the debt, our debt has begun to grow.
Yes, I've been hearing that recently.
The IMF said so. It might go up to 68. The accepted level is 60%.
Yes.
It has gone below 60, by gradually moving up. because they're borrowing for infrastructure,
Yes.
like this desalination plants and stuff like that.
Yes.
And you got to watch some of the people. But we are Taiwan, but we don't talk about it. But if anybody wants to know what debts the government have, they are in the estimate of expenditure. They're not hidden, but we don't want to read.
Yes.
And these things are online. If you want to see the estimates, go to mof.gov. And they're there.
Okay.
The debt information is there. The terms of the loan, they're there in the back of the book.
Yes.
I'm encouraging our people before we just guess and surmise. But a lot of times we are the ones pushing the government into debt. We want this, we want that, we want the other.
But
my friend, they talk about private sector.
But
Sylvie, they could do more.
But Sylvie, even though I agree with you that we are often the ones pushing the government, do we not elect a government to lead, so that if, again, using the parent sort of a similarity, we elected you, the people are demanding so and so, you make decisions that we might grumble about for a while, but then
you first explain to them.
Yes.
You first explain.
Yes.
Now, if you read, I tell people go and read the IMF report, imf.org. You go to the country tab, and you could put in St. and Nevis, or just scroll down to the alphabet F. Now, what I'm saying, fiscal consolidation. You hear that term all the time, right?
Yes.
It means trying to balance, not zero balance, but trying to bring the expenditure and the revenue closer together.
Yes.
Now, if you find the expenditure outstripping the revenue, there are certain measures you have to take.
Yes, yes.
Now, some of them may be painful or unpleasant, but you explain to the people, look, Mayor Matley, she has won or twice.
Yes.
With those high debt rate.
Yes.
When they're going to lay off 3,500 by the hundred they lay off. And the people say, well, at least we get so and so.
And their debt has been showing a decrease.
Yeah, but it was massive, you understand?
Yes.
So they could explain
yes.
Some of it, if you read it, whether you like the government or don't like them, some of those things they have to do. So
yes.
sometimes we don't do, we allow the problem to persist, and then we blame the IMF.
Yeah. And then
the traffic police say, look, your tire is too smooth. Oh, you're going to buy it from easy one. And then one day on a wet day you slip.
Yeah.
And slide.
Cause an accident.
Yeah, so you can't go blame the traffic police. A lot of time we blame the IMF for things that we could do, steps that we should have taken.
Yes.
Or we should have enough people in positions to advise us
yes.
to go in that direction.
Yeah.
Because you will end up at the IMF courthouse.
But then that
understand?
But then that brings up another problem, because it seems a lot of the leaders do not want advice that they are not comfortable with. For instance, if you get an advisor who keep telling you, well, you need to keep nudging you, that you feel perhaps they're irritating you, so. You
because you see, it's only one thing they could say, next election.
Yes, yes.
You could talk what you want, next thing you make me vote me out. So it is self-preservation for most of the politicians.
Yes.
They want at least 2 terms to get the 75% or 100% pension. Then now, I am watching our country marching back to the IMF, while some of us demanding more and more.
Yeah.
Mr. Bacha never gave nothing. He went to meet them poor, he come out with them poor. I mean, really, poverty was massive,
Yeah.
Massive all through the 70s, into the early 80s.
Okay, Sylvine.
All right then. Have a good day.
Same to you. Thanks for your...
Well, good morning to Rockcliffe. bowing in the hospital still.
Okay.
And then God bless you.
Wishing a speedy recovery. Thank you. Because of that bit of a conversation with Sylvine, I'm going to take a bit of a commercial break right now, and I'll be back and we'll see if we can get to that bit of a clip.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Hey, have you heard about the water shortage in our area?
Yeah, it's pretty serious. I've been trying to conserve water as much as possible.
Me too. I've started taking shorter showers and turning off the faucet when I brush my teeth.
But that's great. Another way to save water is to fix any leaks in your house.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. How much water can a leak waste?
A small leak can waste up to 20 gallons of water daily, which can really add up over time.
Wow, that's a lot. And have to check for any leaks in my house.
But another good tip is to only run your dishwasher and washing machine when they're full to save water and energy.
I'll keep that in mind. It's important that we all do our part to conserve water, especially during this shortage.
Absolutely. Every drop counts.
This message was brought to you by the St. Kitts Water Services Department. Learn more at water.gov.kn.
Tune in to Creative Voices, the ultimate radio call-in program where innovation meets inspiration. Join me, Dr. Sarah Owen, as I welcome brilliant Caribbean creatives and innovators for engaging sessions that promise to spark your creativity. Don't miss this unique opportunity to interact with our guests, ask your burning questions, and gain insights that could elevate your own creative endeavors. Tune in every other Friday from 10 a.m. to midday. Get inspired. Let your voice be heard. Mark your calendars and prepare to embark on a journey of creativity and innovation with Creative Voices.
Buster! We run things, things are on we. Buster! Buster! Living color, do it differently. Buster! Buster! Large and in charge, like for the party. Buster! Buster! We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
7 flavors, best taste. Buster! Bolder, better, better. Pick your color.
We set the pace, then everybody follow it.
Buster! Live in full color.
Buster!
The importance of co-parenting. Every child has the right to bond with the parents that gave them life. Children are happiest when they can freely communicate and enjoy the time, talents, and lessons that each parent brings to the relationship.
We make co-parenting difficult when we focus on differences rather than what is in the best interest of our children. Parents, your relationship with each other should never affect the relationship you have with your child. Celebrate your children together. They deserve your best. A message brought to you by the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services. Contact us at 467-1311 or 662-6833 for more information.
Welcome to Island Tea with your faves. Keep it locked in with us for your daily dose of hot tea, only on Win Media 98.9.
And again, I'm back with you. The time 9:41. And we're fast approaching the end of Island Tea for today, but let me see if I can squeeze in a bit of this discussion as it relates to...
Over the past decade, many Caribbean nations have sought infrastructure investments from China, leading to economic growth alongside increasing debt. These investments have funded roads, ports, and energy projects, improving regional connectivity and economic potential. However, concerns have emerged over debt sustainability as some countries struggle with repayment obligations. The reliance on Chinese financing has also raised questions about long-term economic dependence and the strategic implications of these agreements. While the investments have modernized infrastructure, managing the debt and ensuring balanced economic growth remain critical challenges for the region. In this video, let's dive into the top 10 Caribbean countries in 2025 that are most indebted to China, uncovering the deals, gains, and risks behind these financial ties. From Grenada's stadium renovations to Jamaica's transformative highways, we'll explore how these nations balance development with dependency. Could these investments be a lifeline or a looming crisis? Let's find out. Starting with Grenada at number 10. This scenic island country has used Chinese financing to restore and update its infrastructure. Grenada owes about $150 million to China, which amounts to almost 10% of its national debt, estimated at around $1.5 billion. China has been central to Grenada's infrastructural development in the past few years. One of the most high-profile projects involved restructuring the Grenada National Stadium after a hurricane damaged it. In addition to sporting facilities, these projects include massive road and bridge constructions meant to enhance connectivity on the island. Grenada's debt to GDP stands at 69%, based on the International Monetary Fund (IMF) data, which policymakers closely watch. The country's GDP is around $2.2 billion, while its public debt rises as it increases development projects. Analysts have warned that although the infrastructural improvements are enhancing tourism and local investment, the long-term sustainability of this debt is a significant concern, especially in a region prone to natural disasters. Grenada's real economic growth rate per annum is around 2.5%. However, with a vulnerable, small economy, even slight downturns in tourism or the world economy may hamper repayment attempts. The island plans to raise foreign direct investment (FDI) and diversify its economic base to efficiently service this debt. Next, at number 9, we have Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda is an island nation that has transformed through Chinese investments. According to an estimate, the country owes China $300 million, nearly 20% of its foreign debt. To put this into perspective, Antigua and Barbuda's external debt is around $1.5 billion. One of the flagship projects financed by Chinese loans is the expansion of the Deepwater Harbor. This has allowed larger cruise ships to dock, providing a massive stimulus to the tourism sector and increase in trade. Tourism remains the backbone of Antigua and Barbuda's economy, accounting for nearly 60% of its GDP. The country recorded a 4.1% increase in tourism revenue last year, despite the world travel issues. Chinese investment has funded the construction of affordable housing, civic centers, and harbor expansion. However, because the economy is so heavily dependent on tourism and vulnerable to hurricanes and other natural events, questions are being raised about the viability of this debt. The World Bank reports that Antigua and Barbuda's foreign debt has been increasing at an average annual rate of 4.2%, further complicating repayment capacity. The government aggressively seeks fiscal reforms and improved revenue collection to increase debt servicing capacity. The country also diversifies its economy by investing in digital infrastructure and renewable energy projects. Moving on to number 8, there is Cuba. You may be surprised.
Okay, I'm going to pause there. And as we see, the time is approximately 9:46, and we know there's Voices should be coming up next, and I'm going to be your host on that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a bit of commercial break, sort of end the discussion on the Caribbean islands that are more indebted to China. And so far we have dealt with Grenada and Antigua Barbuda. We have reached Cuba, but I'm going to take a bit of commercial break, get myself set up and ready for Voices. And when Voices starts, we will pick up from where we left off here on Island T with the Caribbean islands most indebted to China. So do bear with me. I'll take a bit of a break, get myself ready for the next program, and I'll be right back with you.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Unlock the secrets to a healthier you. Join Dr. Natalie Osborne every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on WinFM 98.9 for Weekly Dose. During this 30-minute